Now at 5 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, an update to the drive-by shooting at Our Lady of Victory Church last Friday.
A new study shows how structural racism may play a role in mass shootings.
And several lawmakers and advocates are calling for a special session to address the deadly heat in Texas prisons.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Yes, the heat is still with us. 99, we barely made it out of the triple digits, but the rest of the state is still in triple digits. Still on the warm side for tomorrow, but I still have that little hope for the weekend, and we'll be talking about it coming up.
A fourth bus carrying 41 migrants from Brownsville arrived in Los Angeles Tuesday night. You're watching 25 News Now at 5. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being with us. I'm James Munoz.
And I'm Karina Garcia.
A jury trial date is set for 28-year-old Craig Wilkinson. He's accused in an injury to a child case. A grand jury indicted him early last month. Wilkinson was arrested on Monday and at last check remains at the Victoria County Jail in lieu of a $30,000 bond. He was arraigned yesterday. We have new details in this drive-by shooting at Our Lady of Victory Cathedral last Friday at 1309 Mesquite Lane. Authorities say the estimated cost of damage is at $25,000. A brass decorative stained glass window were damaged. There was another shots fired call that night, but investigators are unsure if the two shootings are connected. Under state law, any criminal act that causes damage to a place of worship is a felony. The church is working on their insurance claim to get that damage fixed. One of the bullets went through a stained glass window pane at the front of the place of worship. The bullet went through the stained glass and through another interior window pane inside the cathedral. Another bullet dented the brass front door. If you know someone connected to this crime and you want to remain anonymous, call Crime Stoppers 361-572-4200, or you can call the VPD detective at 361-485-3730.
Here's your viewer poll this afternoon. Scan that QR code on your screen to vote now. The question is, do you think the shooting at OLV was random or targeted? Your options are random or targeted. We want to hear your opinion on this. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part, and we're going to have an update on 25 News Now at 6.
Two Woodsboro men have pleaded guilty in a hate crime from October 2021. The Refugio County Press reports Noel Garcia Jr. pleaded guilty on June 29th to a Class A misdemeanor assault charge with a hate crime enhancement. He was placed on probation for 2 years along with a 21-day sentence in Refugio County jail. Rance Bolchik pleaded guilty Tuesday to a Class A misdemeanor criminal mischief charge. He was placed on probation for 2 years. The two men assaulted a black teen with a stun gun while wearing KKK robes on Halloween night in 2021.
Victoria County Animal Services reports 2 people were bitten by a fox in the area of Woodsbright Road. The fox has not been located at this time. Authorities will trap and test several foxes from the area of the fox bites, and they say they have not had any rabid foxes at this time. If you have a physical conflict with a fox, please contact Victoria County Animal Services at 361-578-3574, or if it's an emergency, of course, call 911. A missing child at the center of an Amber Alert and statewide search was found safe. KLTV reports authorities were notified the suspect, Trehonda Jackson, turned over the abducted child to the Department of Family and Protective Services office in Tyler Wednesday morning. Jackson is currently under arrest for a separate drug offense unrelated to this incident and is in the Smith County Jail.
Be Well Victoria is meeting at 5:30. You can join them at the Victoria County Health Department, 2805 North Navarro. Call 361-578-6281, extension 3014 for more details. This is a quarterly meeting to talk about various projects coming up. Karina told Mac that at some point you just make the heat your friend, but he did not agree. Mac's been jumping in the pool, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's one way of staying cool, you know, and doing a little exercise. You know, early in the morning, it's, you know, not too intolerable, but when is the heat going to be my friend? I don't know. I guess when it leaves, you know, one of those. Another hot day over the crossroads, 98 currently. We believe that our high temperature is 99. We're going to check a little bit in an hour to see if that is going to hold. But we'll stay in the triple digits till about Saturday, and then there might be a little bit of a change. We'll talk about it in a moment.
Mac, thank you so much. Fire crews worked a large grass fire in North Texas today. The fire broke out in a rural part of Wise County. Firefighters were digging lines to stop the fire from advancing. They also had to deal with brutal temperatures and triple-digit heat. The feel-like temp was near 110 degrees. No one was hurt. No word on what started the fire. As of this afternoon, the fire was 40% contained.
Advocacy groups say up to 9 people have died from high heat this summer in Texas prisons.
They're demanding Governor Abbott call a special session so lawmakers can make changes in the state prison system.
We're not talking about comfort. We are talking about a matter of life and death.
Devastating stories in the Texas Capitol today, sharing testimony of brutal summers inside Texas prisons.
We want it under 85 degrees, and we want it this summer, right now.
Christy Williams, whose brother died in June at a prison, recounts some of his last days.
It is so hot. He's so exhausted. He was having trouble breathing, and they were barely getting any kind of water at all.
Those advocates and several lawmakers had hoped to use some of the state's historic $32 billion surplus this past session to bring Texas prisons up to what they see as livable standards. Instead, no money was set aside directly for investing in air conditioning units, and only $85 million is allocated over the next 2 years for deferred maintenance projects. Now, those advocates, alongside a few House Democrats, are calling on Governor Greg Abbott to call a special session to address the devastating conditions inside Texas correctional facilities.
This is an issue that warrants an emergency call because it's hot today.
That includes a mock prison cell on the Capitol grounds with temperatures inside climbing well into triple digits.
Hi, how are y'all?
And getting their messaging out, delivering messages to other lawmakers with letters from inside the prisons, detailing firsthand accounts of the brutal heat.
Governor Abbott has said he will call several special sessions.
He has not issued a comprehensive list of special session topics, but investments to cool correction facilities is not one of his priorities so far. Now, a new study published in the journal JAMA shows structural racism may play a role in mass shootings in major city areas in the U.S. Researchers looked at data relating to the 51 largest city areas, including demographics, income data, and mass shootings. In the study, areas with higher black populations were more likely to experience mass shootings than communities with higher white populations. The study also showed that more black people were hurt and killed when mass shootings take place. A mass shooting is defined as one that injures or kills 4 or more people, excluding the shooter. A Ford bus arrived Tuesday evening in Los Angeles carrying 41 migrants from Brownsville. 35 adults and 6 children ranging from 1 to 15 years old were on that bus. The Coalition for Humane Immigrant Rights of Los Angeles said the migrants came from several countries, including Brazil, Chile, China, Colombia, Guatemala, Haiti, Honduras, and Venezuela. They believe the bus trip was funded by Texas. Governor Greg Abbott's office was reached for comment, but they have not said anything yet.
The DPS Inspector General's office is investigating allegations Texas troopers were ordered to push back migrants, including nursing children, who were trying to cross the border through the Rio Grande, to push them back in the water. They were also told not to give the migrants water.
They also brought up concerns about razor wire and buoys installed by the DPS along the river. The U.S. State Department says the state installed them without consulting the federal government first.
Allegations of inhumane treatment of migrants, including small children along the U.S.-Mexico border, now under investigation. In an email sent by a Texas state trooper to his superior obtained by ABC News, he says it was the policy to deny migrants water and were even told to push children, including ones that were nursing, back into the Rio Grande River. The trooper adding when he and others contacted command expressing concerns about the migrants being exhausted, even drowning, they were again given the order to tell them to go to Mexico. The Inspector General for the Texas Department of Public Safety is launching a probe. DPS says the troopers are the ones who perform rescues while trying to stop migrants from placing themselves in harm's way. The trooper also provided pictures he says are of the migrants suffering injuries from newly installed razor wire, even describing a pregnant woman who got stuck in the wire and suffered a miscarriage.
When you're looking at the wire, when you're looking at these floating devices, to be frank with you, that is a death trap.
The Mexican government raising concerns, saying they requested the U.S. government remove the barrels and razor wire from the riverbed. The State Department blaming Texas, saying the barriers were deployed without consulting the federal government. Texas Governor Greg Abbott's office saying Texas is deploying every tool and strategy to deter and repel illegal crossings between ports of entry. The Texas National Guard tells ABC they work alongside Texas law enforcement, but they have no order or directive instructing service members to push migrants back into the river or deny them drinking water. Melissa Adon, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Women suing Texas who were denied abortions despite serious health risk are in court. The group representing the women, the Center for Reproductive Rights, says this case is the first to be brought by women who were refused abortion since the overturning of Roe v. Wade. The group of women says they were told they couldn't end their pregnancies despite serious risks to their health. Others had to travel out of state to receive medical care at their doctor's recommendations. The plaintiffs are asking for an injunction until the state clarifies when exemptions are allowed. Here are some of the top headlines you can read in the Port Lavaca Wave. The creation of a new combined dispatch center, along with the adoption of the downtown waterfront master plan, was approved in Calhoun County's council meeting. The Port Comfort City Council applied for a grant to repair the city's pool, and the Calhoun County Humane Society paid a visit to the Trinity Shores Senior Living Center. You can read these stories and more at theportlavacawave.com.
Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Stay with us. Straight ahead on 25 News Now at 5. A criminal investigation is underway in the downtown Davenport, Iowa building collapse.
Also ahead, the investigation into the death of iconic rapper Tupac Shakur remains active. In the downtown Davenport building collapse. Law enforcement believe a crime may have occurred before the building fell on May 28th. The Iowa Department of Criminal Investigations began the probe the week after the collapse, but this marks the first time a criminal investigation was made public. Law enforcement wants to know if there was any neglect leading up to the collapse or if there was criminal intent in the deaths of the 3 residents. Davenport Police and Fire Department are also involved. The investigation into the unsolved killing of rapper Tupac Shakur continues. Authorities in Nevada confirmed Tuesday they served a search warrant in connection with Shakur's shooting death. The warrant comes nearly 30 years after he was gunned down on September 7, 1996. No arrests were made. Police say the search warrant was executed in the nearby city of Henderson. Details about the search warrant remain unclear at this time, and Shakur was shot multiple times in 1996 when leaving a boxing match at a Grand Center in Las Vegas.
Another case of malaria was reported in Florida this week. The Florida Department of Health reported an additional case of malaria in Sarasota County. This year, 7 cases of malaria were reported in Florida. 3 Florida counties are under mosquito-borne illness alerts. The Texas Department of State Health Services reported a separate case of malaria last month, bringing the total number of cases in the U.S. for this year to 8. Heading back to school can be stressful, especially for parents who are sending a child to school for the first time.
It is a huge transition, but the health experts have advice for parents on how to prepare first-time students.
A new school year with new faces, a new classroom. It can be scary for any student, but especially those who are new to school.
They don't really have an idea in their mind of what this is going to look like. They don't have something to go off of.
Strong for Life licensed therapist Jody Baumstein says preparing children before school starts is critical in easing them into the classroom.
The more we can fill in the blanks in their head, the more at ease they will feel.
Baumstein says to visit the school so the child knows what it looks like. Meet the teacher and administrator so there are familiar faces on day one. Set up play dates before school starts with other families who have first-time students.
They can rely on each other and have some sense of familiarity when they get there so that they don't feel alone and so uneasy.
Finally, practice with school supplies. Baumstein says if your child isn't sure how to use or open something, it can create a layer of anxiety that can be avoided.
It might seem silly and unnecessary, but for kids, it's helpful to know that they're capable and that they can do it without you. And so the more opportunity you can give them a chance to try it in the safety of your home while you're right there if they need help, the more likely they're going to be able to have the confidence to do it on their own.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The Texas Tribune reports West Texas gas operators have released tons of excess emissions during June's intense heat wave. This article is also at crossroadstoday.com.
A flash flood warning was issued for Hawaii Island as Tropical Storm Calvin moves through. Calvin Center is tracking just below the state, but heavy rain and gust winds from the cyclone are being felt across the island chain. Flooding has already caused some road closures on Hawaii Island, where authorities spent all day Tuesday prepping for the storm. Forecasters are also warning of possible tornadoes, and Hawaii's governor has issued a state of emergency.
Here are some of the top headlines you can read in the CUERO Record. DeWitt County 4-Hers are looking for support for national finals. CUERO Regional is hosting a blood drive July 20th from 10:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Pet Adoptions of CUERO says it's seeing more senior citizens adopting pets. Read these stories and more at DeWittCountyToday.com. Mac?
Well, hey, James and Karina, I wanted to show you the rainfall totals from Hawaii, but you got to help me with this, okay? Hilo, which is on the Big Island, got 6 inches of rain. Hakalua got 4.4. Honoka'a, Honoka'a, 3.69, and Lupahoho got 6 inches of rain as well. So they did have substantial rainfall on in the Hawaiian Islands, but no major damage, and certainly it was not a hurricane. It was a tropical storm that went just under the island. Well, that was a brief break. Now let's talk about the heat. We'll do that coming up after this message. Welcome back, everybody. Yep, another hot day over the crossroads. 99 for us officially so far, but sometimes they adjust that or correct that by the time the final report comes out. But 101 down in Beeville, 103 in Gonzales. Any more triple digits? Oh yeah, just a few. You know, like the rest of the state, we continue with this summer that's just unbelievable. Places like Austin, San Antonio, and El Paso are now going for records for having above triple digits. Some places like El Paso are looking at days above 110. So this is going to be one for the record books. And, you know, honestly, seriously, what's it going to be like next year? Worse? I'm thinking, yeah, we're polluting every day. We throw that stuff up in the atmosphere and the sunlight is trapped under it, and that's why we're so hot this year. These are your forecast highs for tomorrow, right at 100 for us. The bubble of doom stays on top of us, and of course, the longer it stays, the hotter it's getting. You get it? Because the solar insolation comes in, then it tries to re-radiate some of the infrared waves, basically the warm stuff, but that stays trapped in the atmosphere, and that's why it's been so warm. Well, my, shall we say, hope for the day is that the bubble is actually going to back up. In fact, by the time we get to Saturday, it's going to move back up over the southwest and take record-breaking temperatures, really, to places like Utah, Colorado, up in the northwest, out in the Intermountain region. But it's going to allow a little bit of a break. You see how the clouds begin to develop here by Saturday? So we may have partly cloudy skies, and that will probably lead us to a few little afternoon showers. Now, it's not going to be huge, but if you catch anything, I'd be very impressed. In the 6 to 10 days, you can see how I'm going to highlight this a little bit. Basically, all of the southwestern mountain areas and the southwest are going to be under that bubble. And that's why my forecast corroborates with that one that it's going to be a little bit farther to the west. So let's take a look at it again. Here's Wednesday. Bubble's still on top of us. You see it right about there. And we go on to Thursday. Nothing happening, but we get to Saturday. Hello, we're seeing a little kind of rain chance around the area. Maybe not everybody, but somebody will get something. And then there you see it on Sunday. So this is you know, a good trend for a couple of days. And then, believe it or not, by Tuesday, the bubble comes back, and but we've got, you know, enough moisture to possibly produce a little bit of activity around here. At least something. Now, this is Calvin. I'm going to get off the map. Calvin started over here in Mexico, went across the Pacific, almost a direct beeline right to Hawaii. Look at that. Amazing that there's so much water, and it had to hit the Hawaiian Islands because, you know, they're paradise. It's paradise out there most of the time. But there's the big island of Hilo, and you can see how the little islands go basically in that direction up to Honolulu, up there in that direction. But again, I was real proud of my pronunciation because apparently I misspelled Hawaii, but I fixed it. But Lupahoho got 6 inches of rain. Here's your forecast. Tomorrow, still on the hot side, looking for a 101 in CUERO. All of us continuing at or near 100 with a 20%, a whopping 20% chance of some little showers around here beginning on Sunday. That's your 7-day forecast. We do have a QR code. We'd love for you to scan that and put Crossroads Today on your phone. How's my pronunciation there, James?
All is forgiven. A plus?
A plus. Yeah, for sure.
All right, coming up next on 25 News Now at 5, we're going to take a look at Wall Street. Plus, construction of new homes fell 8% in the U.S. last month.
Taking a look at your stocks, the Dow up 110 points, the S&P 500 gaining 10 points, and the Nasdaq adding 5 points. Oil down 40 cents, closing at $75.35 a barrel. New home construction in the U.S. fell 8% last month. Housing starts dropped to a seasonally adjusted annual rate of 1.43 million, below economist expectations. The June cool-off was quite a turnaround from May's surprising surge, as low inventory in the existing home market continued to boost interest in the new homes. Stay with us. We'll take one last look at your forecast. Plus, a boy in Oklahoma caught a native South American fish while fishing in a neighborhood pond.
An unusual bite on his lure while fishing at a neighborhood pond over the weekend. He reeled in a pacu, a South American fish closely related to the piranha. Wildlife authorities believe the exotic fish was likely somebody's unwanted pet that was dumped in the pond when it got too big for its tank. I know, it's horrible.
Yep.
Pacu can reach 3.5 feet in length and can weigh nearly 90 pounds. While the species is harmless to humans, they can become harmful to local wildlife.
Did you guys see the teeth on that thing?
Yeah. Can you imagine that at 3 feet long?
Wow.
It looks, those almost look like, dare I say, human teeth.
Yeah, worst part, he can invite his cousins, the piranhas. That's no good. And, you know, people do that. They dump the fish because they got too big or they don't want to take care of it. In Carolinas, they dumped lionfish, which are now all over the place. And
I heard about that one,
not native to the area. So that's what we would consider an invasive species. And don't throw the fish there. Take them back to the fish shop. They'll do something.
I wonder how he knew it was rare and identified it.
Probably couldn't say, well, what the heck is this?
He probably Googled it or took a picture of it.
Yeah,
he's probably a fish dude.
Kids nowadays Googled it.
That's what I would have done, because if I caught a rare fish, I throw it back in there. Would have never known. Never been on the news. But Mac, tell me about this weather that we got. Yeah, it's still on the hot side, folks. Not a lot of change there, but I'm hoping against hope that we'll get some clouds and a few little sprinkle showers during the afternoon hours beginning on Sunday. It's not going to get cooler. It's going to get more humid, but you know, if we catch a little rain shower, take a picture and send it to me. I'd love to see it. It's been so long.
Yeah, please tell me when we're going to wear red again.
Ooh, matching.
I don't feel left out at all.
Next time, we'll CC you.
All right, thanks for being with us.
We hope to see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 6. World News Tonight with David Muir is up next.
Till now.